Hello, Starshine. My name is Liz, and this is my channel, Simsational Stories. If you have not seen my videos before, and you enjoy this one, please like and subscribe, and maybe check out my other social media as well. I'm on both Facebook and Twitter. All relevant links are in the description below, and of course, if you're a Sims player and you'd like to download any of my characters, just search the hashtag Simsational Stories on the Sims 4 gallery. All original content is created by This Is Not Eric. Finally, before I begin my Simsational story, I'd like to issue this blanket content and trigger warning. The following story is just Sims, hey. I'm not going to apologise for treating them terribly, if that's what I've done. But I do want to assure you now that although I mean absolutely no harm, I completely understand if you feel unable to consume my content. Many loves, and we will catch each other on the internet elsewhere. Okay, so now we've gotten that over with. Let's go. Today's story is from the Chronicles of Cosmos, and we're at chapter 4. If you have not seen previous chapters and would like to catch up, there are playlists available on my channel so you can hear the entire story in chronological order. The rest of us are going to move on from where we left off last time though, so without further ado. Born the hybrid child of an alien and a sim, teenager Cosmos Nimeroo was green-skinned, green-hearted, and on a mission to save the Sulani Islands from pollution and tourism. She had only just turned 16, but already she'd managed to convince her parents to let her move out by herself to live in a tent at the beach. Cosmos's camp was simple, but she insisted that she had everything she needed. There was a bug box for high-calorie renewable snacks, a cooler for her food, a campfire as well as a grill, a table and chairs, some citronella candles, and, of course, a high-quality tent. She may have grown up in suburban Strangerville, but Cosmos had adapted well. Her parents, Magnus and Kalaya, were always trying to convince her to move home, but Cosmos was adamant and passionate about her determination to make Sulani work for her. She couldn't quite explain it to herself, let alone her parents. But something in Cosmos called her there. It had ever since she was a child. When she was a little girl, Cosmos had come to Sulani on a family holiday, and ever since that first visit, she'd felt it. A strange, almost otherworldly connection to the ocean, deep within her soul, that couldn't be denied. This was her home. She had known it then inside herself, and Cosmos knew it now. She was meant to be in the ocean. It was part of her, part of who she was meant to be. Cosmos went swimming every single day now that she lived here. In fact, she swam so much that she found herself unable to consume fish anymore. It just didn't feel right. She was practically a fish herself. Practically a fish, but not quite. Cosmos had heard that there were mermaids on Sulani Islands, but despite all the magical beauty surrounding her, she had never quite believed it. Until the day they swam right in front of her. Surely the world couldn't truly be that fantastical. Mermaids, rather like aliens, were a thing right out of mythology. She wanted to be one. Oh, how could she become a mermaid? There had to be a way. Cosmos chased the merpeople down that day, begging and splashing behind them. Aqua Anahita and her young podmate Gabrielle Arculla Smythe hadn't been expecting to see an interloper this far out, and didn't quite know how to react themselves. They may have been shocked into stopping at first, but Gabrielle and Aqua were quick to reassert control of the situation. Without answering any of Cosmos's begging questions, the two mermaids sped off together at top speed, soon leaving a struggling Cosmos behind. She returned to her camp, defeated. A few days later, Cosmos was grilling marshmallows when she heard a noise behind her, which was rather unexpected, given how remote her little island was. She had been living there for just over 3 weeks now, and, except for her parents and then the mermaids, she had not seen or heard from another soul that whole time. Owen Anahita sat himself down at her campfire, started grilling his own marshmallow, and casually introduced himself as her next-door neighbour before asking her name. Cosmos was so taken aback, she didn't even think to lie. She just gasped her own name and replied back that it was, she supposed, nice to meet him too. What was going on here? It turned out that the mermaids Cosmos had met had since been keeping a bit of an eye on her. She was in their territory, after all, and that required some investigation. But obviously they couldn't do it themselves, or Cosmos would recognize them immediately. Having realized that Cosmos was the same age as her own twin sons, Aqua had sent Owen over to talk to the young teenager. Aqua Anahita was the matriarch of the local merpeople. She was an island native with a strong connection with both the land and ocean, who had built her home on a spiritual nexus, and both her sons, with gardener husband Kai, were merpeople too. But it was Owen she sent to talk to Cosmos. Owen felt guilty about what he was doing. It wasn't right to basically just lie about why he was there. And Cosmos seemed lovely. He actually felt rather sorry for her. She said she was fine, and that she had everything she needed, but all Owen could think about was how lonely she must be, living out here all by herself. It was difficult sometimes. Cosmos would receive messages from back home about stuff that was happening. Her brother's girlfriend had left him, had their daughter without him, and wanted nothing more to do with the entire family. And Cosmos felt guilty for living her own life out here in Sulani, but this was where she wanted to be. Cosmos was more happy now than she thought she'd ever been before in her life, especially now she'd met Owen. She had so much fun with Owen, and he was so sweet. Cosmos thought she might actually be falling in love with him. She had never really thought about boys before, and had even wondered if she might be gay. But Owen made her feel things. Cosmos made Owen feel things too. She wasn't who he had expected her to be. When she'd first told him that she'd run away from home, he had thought he was about to meet a vapid, thoughtless idiot. And Owen loved how she challenged his misconceptions. But now he was about to challenge hers. How would she react to the truth? And that brings us to the end of Chapter 4 of the Chronicles of Cosmos. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can tune in soon to hear the next chapter. And hey, maybe think about sharing my channel with a friend. Or don't. It's your life. Anyway, bye!